It's a new car. A sleek, two-door, full-size compact convertible in smart, modern design. With a flick of a switch, it becomes a boat. It's the new Amphicar, the sports car that swims at an average of 10 miles an hour.
Vroom, vroom, splash, vroom, 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 splash, vroom. I make that noise in honor, in case you've forgotten this landmark in human achievement, of the fact that on September 17th, back in 1965, 4 Englishmen arrived at the Frankfurt Motor Show in quant amphicars. That's right, amphibious cars, which they had driven across the English Channel. And that's all we need. Now, you might just put this down to it was the 1960s, right? This is an era in which people thought it would be good if pants flared out at the bottom and jackets buttoned all the way to the neck and George Lazenby played James Bond tongue-in-cheek. But I think of it more as a monument to the strange directions in which human ingenuity can take us. When you watch programs on invention, you go from one landmark to another and often tracing out the strange and dazzling connections between one piece of technology and the following one. If you watch those videos of early airplanes that get 10 feet in the air and crash, or that have flapping wings or sometimes manage to collapse into the ground without ever leaving it, it's funny because you know that we're going to get the Sopwith Camel and then eventually the 747 and the F-18. But for every technology that really does work out, there are countless others, these sort of hopeful monsters that never do go anywhere, that are a tribute to mankind's capacity to create solutions for which there are no problems, just as readily as we create problems for which there are no solutions. I mean, I grant you that there are things about these cars that really do scream 1960s, including the colors. You could get them in beach white, regatta red, lagoon blue, or fjord green. And they were powered by a rear 43 horsepower engine. Man, that's power. A quant called these things 770s because supposedly they could get up to 7 miles an hour in the water and 70 on the road, although even their enthusiasts don't really buy that claim. One of them said it was the fastest boat on the road and the fastest car in the water. But there were almost 4,000 of these manufactured between 1961 and 1968. Most of them were sold in the United States, about 3/4 of them. What actually killed the Amphicar was that there were new and stricter pollution standards in the United States and it just couldn't meet them. But, I mean, think about this. It was a convertible. You know, this is just what I want when I drive my car into the choppy waters of the English Channel. A soft, retractable roof. What could possibly go wrong? Well, don't worry, we'll think of something. As a matter of fact, on that historic crossing, one of them did conk out. It got, you won't believe this, a flooded engine. But the other one hooked it up and towed it over, so I guess it does get some points for reliability. And incredibly, enthusiasts have kept several hundred of these things on the road to this day. Yes, there are still amphicars out there, and there's probably somebody who thinks George Lazenby was a pretty cool James Bond for that matter, and even still has their bell bottoms. But to me, the amphicar is a monument to the fact that history is not an unbroken story of progress. It's not just one genius after another despised and then vindicated. There are all kinds of inventions that take a lot of ingenuity, sort of work, but never had any purpose. Though I find it hard to think of one that's more dramatically in that category than that marvel of the 1960s, the amphicar. Vroom, vroom, splash. Vroom, 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 vroom.